Chennai take on Delhi in Abu Dhabi this evening, with the match being seen as a test for both teams' bowling attacks. Delhi have been without star batsman Kevin Pietersen for their first two games thanks to a finger injury, and it looks doubtful if Kevin Pietersen will play tonight as well. Thankfully, JP Duminy has been in good form so far, scoring an unbeaten 67 of 48 and an unbeaten 52 of 35 in the first two games. Meanwhile, Chennai have to find a way to make their bowling click when playing away. Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja gave away far too many runs in their opening game. In fact, only Ashish Nehra emerged from the opener with a run rate below 10 per over. It will also be interesting to see if MS Dhoni includes Samuel Badri to beef up his bowling attack. So we're looking forward to that matchup tonight. In just a bit from now, Chennai taking on Delhi Daredevils. All right. Nikhil, the battle of two bowling attacks who've suffered so far. Chennai, one of the only two teams who's only played one match so far. So it'd be unfair to judge them too much on just that one outing. But it doesn't happen very often that, 205 are chased down. They definitely have problems in their bowling attack.
Oh, without a doubt, and their core has been pretty much the same. And, on these sort of tracks, you'd expect their spinners to come out on top, because they've been playing this format for a long period of time. They've been bowling in tandem together over a long period of time. I guess it was one of those days where we spoke about, Maxwell just running away with the show, as well as Miller. He held his calm. On those sort of innings, sometimes as a bowler, you got to say, well played. Give credit where it's due. And I hope Mahendra Singh Dhoni and the rest of the guys can lift up their game, because it's important to try and find where they're leaking too many runs. I guess they have not been able to bowl those sort of aggressive lines to look to pick up wickets. In this format, Shivani, every bowler is going to go for runs. But the important thing is, even if you're leaking runs, if you start picking up wickets, I guess you will be doing your team a huge big advantage. If you get onto the defensive and leak runs and don't pick up wickets, then I guess is big problems for your side. So the mindset of a bowler, he's got to look to pick up wickets.
Yes, Kevin Pietersen still doubtful for this game. That definitely takes away certain advantage from Delhi. But what could also be an even, something that could even it out, Boria, is the fact that Dwayne Bravo suffered a bad fall last game, and he could be out of competition for the Chennai Super Kings, and that gives them an opportunity to include Samuel Badri. Would you say it's all even Stevens before this match?
Bravo's a bigger name than Samuel Badri. I mean, Bravo's batting is far, far better than Samuel Badri. And that shoulder injury that Bravo suffered trying to take that acrobatic catch in the last match might hurt Chennai in the long term if he doesn't recover. But Kevin Pietersen is a far bigger name than a Dwayne Bravo. If you see the impact that Kevin Pietersen can have on a possible match. Yes, JP Duminy, as you rightly said, has been in terrific form, but Kevin Pietersen is the boss. I mean, in that sense, he's the leader, he's the icon, he's the singular player, and he's got tremendous incentive because he's dropped from the England team, his career is over, international career over. This is where he will still want to make a mark. So I think Kevin Pietersen, Dwayne Bravo comparison, perhaps a tad unfair to Delhi. All said and done, Kevin Pietersen is a bigger loss for Delhi than compared to Bravo for Chennai.
Okay, Chennai have won the toss and elected to bat first. So they are going to back their batting. Of course, McCullum and Dwayne Smith at the top gave them a flyer of a start in the last match.
Phenomenal. I guess that sort of start if they get, and with the powerhouse of the middle order that Chennai have got. You get to 205, I guess, your bowlers
You can't be two times unlucky, is it?
Well, that, and I don't think the bowlers are going to make the same sort of mistakes. Yeah. I guess because you've got a professional unit in terms of their bowling department. They're very experienced. It's not that these are young Turks out there on the cricket field and they'll make the same mistakes again. I don't think. Ashwin is a far better bowler. Jadeja is a far better bowler. Ashish Nehra is the old experienced war horse. So I don't think these guys will make that sort of mistake again.
Pressure though on Ravindra Jadeja. His performances of late, starting from the World T20 have dipped. Boria, in one word, your pick for this match?
One has to go for Chennai because of the record, but then Chennai not in Chennai, because that's the fortress. In Abu Dhabi, Ashwin, Jadeja, you've got to say there's a problem there. But all said and done because of the experience Chennai.
This man has a shot for everything in the book. Where do you bowl to Glenn Maxwell?
Well, when any batsman is in that sort of form, anything on length, it's out of the park. The margin of error is so small. A, he's in top-notch form, and B, the wicket, the kind of wicket that they were playing on is not helping the bowler's cause anywhere else. You just pick the line of the ball, you're batting through the ball, And these days, these cricket bats, you know, with their meat, they are so big. Mistime hits get out of the park. So I guess as a bowler, your question, where do you bowl to him? Aim for the toes. Aim for the toes.
All right. Boria, sensational batting by Glenn Maxwell. You know, it's surprising that he didn't quite make this impact with Mumbai Indians who bought him for $1 million. But ever since leaving them, he's been the match winner for Punjab.
You know, and he's done exceedingly well in the World T20 as well. If you see, he was the only Australian batsman who was consistent and he was scoring at will. Glenn Maxwell has had incredible impact in this format, even if you go back in Australia and see. That's why Mumbai Indians paid that kind of money. But I think he's now got used to the IPL, the format, the pressure, everything. And Nikhil Chopra is absolutely spot on. Aim for his toes. Give him a toe crusher because that's your best opportunity. Anything at length, gone out of the park. Or create a slow, low pitch like you do in Chennai. Once you are back in India, you will have to test Glenn Maxwell in a completely different way.
Yes, but the problem in that is that by that time he could be in such sensational form and have so much confidence that maybe he'll carry it in India as well. But let's very quickly talk about Rajasthan as well. Nikhil, you know, they have extremely good performers, individual performance. Sanju Samson, you know, the find of last season, and an incredibly good talent, and so, you know, so much confidence from him. And then Shane Watson. But again, a target like 191 being chased down, the bowlers have to take the blame.
Well, without a doubt. You know, the wicket is so good, and then you've got Maxwell and Miller in the kind of form that they have been in. You know, it's very hard to stop a batting unit like this. You know, when they're in that sort of form. I guess, you know, with the leg spinner bowling, if he had picked up a wicket or two, things could have looked very different. But I guess, you know, Boria is absolutely right. By the time, Shivani, they get back to India, once that wicket starts turning, you can't just plant your front foot and, you know, hit through the line. It'll be a different ball game altogether. These sort of wickets, there's nothing happening for the bowler. It's like you're bowling on concrete blocks. You know, there's no deviation off the pitch whatsoever.
But to be fair to Glenn Maxwell, everybody's batting on the same pitch.
Well, of course, you know, in that sort of form, it makes a big difference. You know, but you know, in that sort of form, you find the gaps. It makes a big difference. You look at Shane Watson. When he got out, you could see the disbelief on his face because he played a bad shot. With Maxwell, he's been timing the ball. Yeah. That's the important thing. Every batsman has their ups and downs. It's the difference in the top three when these guys are having their form of their life, how many games you win for your side.
Absolutely. And David Miller playing a very good supporting role to Glenn Maxwell as well. But the other batsmen will have to start firing, especially Virendra Sehwag. He can't be quiet for too long. Boria Majumdar and Nikhil Chopra, thanks a lot for joining us. Of course, these two gentlemen will be with us all throughout the IPL. Moving on to the other top story, the Supreme Court will take a decision on BCCI's newly proposed probe panel to investigate the matter of corruption during IPL 6 on Tuesday when the hearing in the matter resumes. During a long meeting on Sunday, the BCCI formed their panel that includes former Indian captain Ravi Shastri, former CBI Director R.K. Raghavan and Calcutta High Court Chief Justice former J.N. Patel. It will now be up to the Apex Court to either accept or reject or even make changes to the panel tabled by the BCCI. Meanwhile, the petitioner Aditya Verma has made it clear that they will oppose the panel formed by the BCCI. Now, several questions have been raised on the conflict of interests of these members. Questions have been raised over Ravi Shastri, as he's contracted by the BCCI and is a member of the two IPL committees. Former CBI director runs a cricket club in Tamil Nadu under TNCA and had deposed in front of the Mudgal committee, thus making him go from being a witness to judge. Is that not an issue? And finally, questions have also been raised over J.N. Patel by former BCCI President Sharad Pawar, owing to his relations to BCCI's interim President Shivlal Yadav. All of these extremely pertinent questions before that hearing in the Supreme Court tomorrow, and we'll have to wait and see if the Apex Court accepts the proposal of this probe panel or rejects it.